system that argue your outcome in dating and social life are largely predetermined at birth, not by effort, not by personality, but by genetics. This ideology is known as the black pill. Let's start by defining the black pill. In academic terms, the black pill can be understood as a form of genetic determinism applied to social and romantic outcomes. It argues that physical traits such as facial symmetry, height, race, and bone structure overwhelmingly dictate attraction and success. So basically, if you weren't born with the right traits, improvement is viewed as largely irrelevant. The black pill argues that social and romantic success is largely determined by genetics. This worldview has grown rapidly alongside dating apps, social media, and algorithmic comparison. And over time, frustration becomes the explanation. And like most online ideologies, this one didn't spread randomly. It was shaped by specific voices. To understand how this belief system operates, it helps to look at how it's presented. One of the most prominent examples comes from a creator who frames the black pill as science, a well known figure in the space that goes by the name of Clavicular. Clavicular's content focuses heavily on physical anthropology, jawline, clavicle width, and facial ratios. The presentation is analytical, measured, and data based. The message isn't emotional, it's framed as objective. Most Black Pill creators didn't invent the data though. They reference real studies on attraction, symmetry, and preference. But referencing science isn't the same as using it correctly. And this distinction is where the entire worldview either holds or collapses. The core mistake is assuming population level trends determine individual outcomes. So, in other words, it's bold for you to assume that everybody finds the same nigga exactly the same amount of attractive. This is known as an ecological fallacy. I mean, shit, physical traits have to influence first impression, but long term success correlates more strongly with emotional regulation, social skills, and environment. What did Kai say? If you can make her laugh and giggle, you can make that ass clap and jiggle, fam. If genetics were destiny, variation wouldn't exist. What would an underdog story look like if there wasn't any underdogs? And I'll be honest, there was a point in my life where I was obese, not just bulky or out of shape, like actually unhealthy. And even then, I still pulled baddies. And it's important to say, not as a flex, but because my life didn't change because I suddenly became worthy once my body changed. I didn't lose weight to earn validation. I did it because I wanted more for myself, more physical strength, better health, clearer mental space, and longevity. The black belt turns self improvement into fear, like you're running from genetic failure. For me, it was the opposite. It was about agency. I wasn't trying to become someone else, I was trying to take care of myself. So, why does this worldview gain traction? I think it's because it offers certainty in a space full of rejection. And certainty, psychologically, can be powerful. But it's also convenient. The black pill gives people a clean explanation that lets people stop asking questions about themselves. If genetics is everything, then you never have to confront your habits, your social skills, your discipline, your emotional maturity, or what you actually bring to this world. Real self improvement is uncomfortable because it goes deeper than how you look. It forces you to change your patterns, take responsibility, and accept that progress isn't linear or guaranteed. The black pill cuts that process short. It turns self worth into a scoreboard and says if you're not born with it, why even bother? And that's why it spreads. Not because it's true, but because it removes effort, uncertainty, and accountability. That's why this philosophy cannot and should not be taken seriously by anyone. Because reducing human value to bone measurements isn't realism, it's intellectually shallow. It takes something complex, adaptive, and deeply social and flattens it into a spreadsheet. Humans don't exist in a vacuum. We respond to environment, feedback, confidence, behavior, and opportunity. People change how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they relate to others, and those shifts matter more over time than static traits ever could. And any theory that can account for growth, learning, or adaptation isn't describing reality, it's describing resignation. I say all this to say acknowledging biology doesn't mean surrendering agency. Yes, genetics influence us, but influence is not destiny. The black pill doesn't uncover hidden truth. It takes real pain, real rejection, and real insecurity and simplifies it into inevitability. And the moment you label something as inevitable, you stop trying. That's not clarity. That's giving up dressed as realism.